Welcome to the channel, friends. So today's video is going to be covering the newly released LUX TQ1 Smart Thermostat. Now, we're going to first get into the setup and the base plate install of this thermostat, but I'm also going to cover other things in separate videos as well as in this video when it comes to lock and unlock, manual override, factory reset, 7-day schedule programming, as well as how to connect this smart thermostat to a phone app. Okay, you need a Matter-enabled hub or controller to do so, but we will get into that later in the video, and I will make separate videos for each one of these topics to break it down in a better fashion. So the very first thing we're going to cover is the installer settings. Okay, let's just pretend that this thing is already on your wall already, and you came across this thing and you want to change some of the install settings on the device, as well as some of the preferences. Then we'll get into the base plate and we'll start looking at the different wires in the next segment. But let's go ahead and take a look at how to do that. So press your menu button. If you don't know, these are touch buttons and you have 6 available. So you have your mode button, which was right here, your menu, your back button here in this corner, and then in this corner is the OK or Enter button to make your selections, and then your up and down. So let's use the up and down arrow, and let's go to installer page here. So we click on installer, and this is what I'm talking about. So let's first make sure that our thermostat has the correct settings. You know, usually when you plug this thing in, it's going to ask you some prompts, and these are the prompts that it's going to ask you. So you can come back at a later date and change these, okay? So no worries, let's go through that first. This is most likely what you're watching this video for, but let's go ahead and check this out. So the first one is going to be in the installer page is the system summary. So let's take a look at that. So it's going to basically run down what's connected. It's a 2-stage boiler, no fan, 2-stage air conditioner. Okay, so it basically, this is what it asks you when you first plug this thing in and power it up. Okay, so it's basically giving you a rundown, not really much selection here. Also, it says S1 and S2 are not used. Those are separate external temperature sensors that you can wire into the back plate. We'll cover that later, just briefly. But let's back out of it. And let's go to the next available option, so available modes. So our available modes, basically here, we can turn off and on different modes, heating mode, cooling mode, or auto mode. That's a preference, so if you want to turn off your heat completely, you would go in here and change that and turn it off. Same thing with the automatic changeover, which is the last option. You can go in there and turn it off. Everything is turned on right now. I'm going to leave it like that. Back to the main installer page. So let's scroll down to the temp control. Now this gives you some options when it comes to first stage swing temperature. It allows you to adjust that swing, as well as second stage offset. Okay, you can go ahead and adjust that offset. Then other options include the auto deadband. Okay, so that's basically the difference between the auto changeover differential there, the delta. And the very last option, let's hit OK to that. And the very last option is early recovery. So that means it's going to preheat or pre-cool depending on your allotted time for your time periods of the day. Okay. We're going to hit OK and hit back. The next option is temperature limit. Let's go check that out. So this is going to set maximum and min temperatures for heating and cooling. So the first option is max heat. Then the next option is minimum heat. Okay, so if you have it in the garage or different room in the house, basement. Max cool and then min cool. So these are just different thresholds or like min and maxes that you want to set. Okay, those are very easy to set. Next is going to be temperature calibration. So let's take a look at that. It's going to be using the built-in sensor it's telling us here. And you really don't have much option. And you can go ahead and change and offset the temperature, okay, depending on how it sits in the room, okay? If it sits in a sunny part of the room and there's sun on here, you're going to want to offset that negative, okay? That way it's not showing that the temperature is higher than it really is because of the sunlight hitting the thermostat. So you would go ahead and adjust that negative or positive, depending on the situation, okay? And we can hit OK, and we just hit back. Next one on the installer page is protection. So this is for the compressor, for your AC. So basically we have a minimum off time. Usually you want to set that to like 5 minutes. You don't want your compressor turning on excessively in the event that it turns off and on. You want to give it some rest time, and 5 minutes is usually a pretty good time. Okay. We're going to go ahead and like change that to 5 minutes. Minimum on time. So this is basically a minimum amount of time that you want it to stay on. Okay, so you can adjust this as needed. I'm going to put 5 minutes for this as well. And then back out of this, and we're going to go to the next option. And the next option is factory reset. It's self-explanatory. If you wanted to factory reset the device, this is where you would do it. You would completely erase everything on this thermostat and start over from a factory state. Okay? We're going to hit back. Now that we covered the installer page, let's go to the preferences, which is right above it. This is also covered when you first plugged in the unit. It would ask you all these questions. So first one's going to be display, active brightness, you can have the brightness on and off. You can have a night mode on this as well, which is nice. You could have it a night indicator, and it gives you time frames of when it's going to go. Basically, nothing on the screen. Okay, that's good to know. But that's very customizable. It's very good. Next is going to be lock. We're going to come back to that. Time and date. This is where you would set the time and date, as you can see there. Just go through there, adjust your time and date. Next is format. Format's going to be Fahrenheit or Celsius for your first one here. You can change that. Hit OK. And then the clock format, 12-hour or 24-hour. Next is location. If you wanted to have it use your location, and we're not going to cover that. And then the next option is reset user data. That will just erase certain particulars in here and not your schedule and not your your app connection to your phone. But this is just user data, like usage time and things like that. And that's it when it comes to preferences. Let's go back in there and let's do the lock unlock. Okay, lock unlock is something common that people want to know about, so let's cover it. Lock unlock is simple to use. It gives you some options here. The first option is obviously the lock level, the type of locking you want. And then the second one is you're setting your passcode. Okay, so it's going to ask us set lock level. It's either going to be none, only for setting the temperature, or a full lock to do anything on the device. We're going to go full lock. So let's turn that on. Let's set the passcode. I'm just going to keep it as all zeros. Okay. Now, let's back out of this. Let's let it go to an idle state. Okay, so as you can see here, I tried to wake it up, and you see a little lock at the bottom here. That means it's locked. So let's go ahead and try to get past it. Now you would enter your passcode. I recommend writing this down because if you forget your passcode, I'm not sure exactly how to get back into this. I don't think that a factory reset would even do it. So let's go ahead and enter our passcode, which is all zeros. And as you can see, we're back into the thermostat, and we can operate it and do whatever we need and change settings. Go back to the menu and do whatever we need to do. But yeah, recommended that you write down your passcode somewhere in your owner's manual and tuck that away in a safe place with other manuals. Okay, so that there was the basic setup, going through the menu options and the installer setup. Let's go into the back side of the thermostat and show you the base plate and kind of like your common configurations you're going to see for wiring. Okay, so let's take a look at the base plate and the back side of the thermostat. As you can see, we have no batteries. This is a C-wire powered thermostat. You have to have a C-wire to use it, to power it up. There's no other options. So there's also one thing you want to note when it comes to a jumper selection here. So you want to have basically the jumper on the right if you have only a red wire on the base plate. Okay, so that pertains to this wire right here. So if you only have the red wire hooked up, this jumper has to be to the right. Okay, there's 3 connections here. Okay, 3 pins. And if you had both the RH and the RC, you would go to the off position. Okay, so if there was both a wire, another red wire connected here to the RC, and both RH, that's when you would have this condition here in the off position. But since we only have one of these wires, which is one red wire connected to RH, the proper setting is that right there on this jumper, so to the right. Okay, so getting that out of the way, that's important to know. There's really nothing going on in the backside besides you have your pins and that one jumper that you have to get correct. So let's take a look at the base plate and what that's about, okay? So here we have the base plate, and this is the most common kind of wires you're going to see. And I'm going to quickly run through this and show you what each one of these does in a kind of brief way. Okay, so here we have basically a C-wire adapter. Now, Lux also offers the power bridge, which does the same thing, okay? And if you have the power bridge, this PB right here stands for power bridge. You would hook up the PB wire to this right here, okay? But I have the Honeywell style one, and I'm going to use this for the demonstration. So we'll start at the top here. We have the C, which is the common wire. Okay, that's your blue wire. Okay, that powers up the thermostat so it can operate. Okay, you need that wire in order to use this device. Okay, the yellow wire goes to the Y setting here, the Y terminal. Like I said, PB is the Lux power bridge. Okay, that powers up the thermostat as well. It's basically like having another common wire, which supplies 24 volts. The green wire is your fan wire. Okay, that's a very common wire. RH is the red wire, which supplies 24 volts as well. We don't have anything in RC, but that's the cooling stage transformer input. Okay, so if you had 2 red wires, like I said, you would have one for RC for a transformer for the cooling, and then RH is the transformer for the heating. Same thing, they're both 24 volts. The next one is the star, which is used for, it is a multi-use terminal that's used for second stage heating. Okay. The W is your first stage heating. So it ties into the star. Star is your second stage. W, white wire, is going to be your first stage heating. Okay. And then over here on this side, this Y2/GH, that's used for your second stage cooling. The Y is for cooling as well. So that's your first stage cooling, Y1 essentially, and then Y2 is your second stage cooling wire. And also it says GH, which means fan high. So if you had a high-speed fan setting, second stage fan, it would also be connected to this. That's an option. These S1, S2, and SC, that has to do with external temperature sensors that are wired into the base plate, okay? And you can select those in the thermostat. But that there is the base plate. It has a built-in level, which is really nice. It gives you a quick description here of some things. But it's very basic. It's not that elaborate, as you can see. When you remove the thermostat from the wall, you want to go straight off the thermostat, okay? Because this just snaps into place. There's nothing on the exterior. When you do this, you want to come straight off the wall, and the base plate will come right off from the thermostat, okay? This is secured to the wall with obviously some self-tapping screws or wood screws, depending on what you need. And that is provided in the box, okay? So I will go over that really quick. Here is the box. And it comes with accessories, which is the self-tapping screws and drywall anchors. I will show that, as you can see there. So it comes already in the box with what's needed to mount it on the wall. Very nice packaging. Very modern unit. It's a really good looking unit, I must say. I like the touch screen, but the packaging is also very nice. Very minimalist. But I want to show you how to connect this thermostat. It's really simple, okay? So you're going to have to choose what kind of app you're going to use, okay? Let's pull up the Alexa. So as you can see here, we have Amazon Echo. If you had that set up with the hub or controller, you would use that, or the Matter device here. You'd essentially pick your app that you want to use, whether it's Google Home, Amazon Alexa, or the Samsung Smart Things. And then you would come over to the thermostat and hold down the menu button here in the middle. As you can see there, now it's in pairing mode. So when it's in pairing mode, it wants to connect to your phone and connect to that hub. So when that is complete, you will get prompts on your phone to complete the connection. Now you have to press that button and hold it in this button here, the menu button, in order to do that, okay? And then follow the prompts on your app, on your smartphone, to finish the process. There's many different apps, like I said, that you can use, as long as it's a Matter-enabled hub or controller that's connected to that phone app. You will be able to use that as basically a pass-through. So when that's set up, you can basically use your thermostat throughout the home within range of that Matter-enabled hub or controller. I don't have a Matter-enabled hub or controller, so I could not connect with my phone. But I wanted to bring you this video to show you how to make connectivity and how to do that. As well as when you go through the menu, you can also select connectivity and hit select. This will give you an option here, a QR code to scan with your phone. I will do that and show you what it does. Okay. As soon as you do that, it will bring up different options. Getting everything ready. Couldn't add device. Okay, so you get the idea. As soon as you scan this QR code, if you have a Matter-enabled hub or controller in your home set up already, you would be already good to go, and it would prompt you to the next steps of making a connection and then using your device, using this smart thermostat, and making temperature changes and set point changes and schedule changes as needed. So that there is how you connect using the button on the smart thermostat, the LUX TQ1, and then work through those prompts to figure out which app you want to use on your phone and which one is more convenient for you. So let's get into how to schedule or program this device for 7 days. It's actually relatively simple. If you don't know how to use this, there's 6 buttons on here. We have mode, we have the menu button here in the center, then we have the back button, and then the OK or accept button, and then the up and down arrows. So it's very simple operation, but we want to basically go hit that menu button in the center there. We're going to get the menu page, and then we're going to go to schedule in order to schedule a program. Hit OK. As you can see here, we want to make sure that the schedule toggle is on and green. That means it is active. If you were to toggle that off, as in what it looks like right there with the gray shading, it's not going to be scheduled or programmed for anything, and it's just going to default to a manual style thermostat. Now, that's not going to operate fully programmed and run a schedule. So we want to turn that back on and have our schedule working for us. So then the selection at the bottom here is View Schedule. This is where you're going to do all your edits and create your schedule. So we're going to hit OK on that. Now, in the View page here, as you can see, we have 3 options. At the top, we have the heat schedule, cool schedule, and auto schedule. So that's the auto changeover. Let's just start off with one of these top ones here, the heat schedule. All right, so as you can see, we have 2 time blocks. Okay, that can be changed. We can have 1, or we can have as many as, I think, 6 on here. So in order to change this, we're going to hit OK. Now it's just going to run you sequentially through those time periods that are existing on there. There was 2 of them. Now it's going to ask you if you wanted to change it to 1 or 3. I'll show you how to do that. So period 1, you can adjust your time, the threshold for the set point that you want. So figure out what time you want. So we're going to 6 a.m. and then we're going to advance using the OK button. And now we can advance to this spot here where we can adjust the set point. Okay. Once we adjust the set point, we hit OK again. And now, right after that sequence, it's going to ask us every time, do you want to set another period? If you actually go ahead and set another period, it's going to go and basically give you 2 periods. So we're going to hit yes. Okay. Period 2, we're going to do the same thing. Adjust for the time that we want. This may take some time to figure out, but you can come back and always change it. That's the good thing. So we're going to advance through this. We're going to say 75. As you can see, it asked us one more time at the end of the second period, do you want to set another period? I'm going to say yes. Okay. Now we're into 3 periods programming. Now we're going to do the same thing. For our 3rd period, set the time, set the set point. Okay. Now we're just going to back out of this because we only want 3 periods. Okay. If you wanted a 4th one, you would hit yes, and you would continue on making each one of those periods, like I said, up to 6 of them or whatever. But we're going to choose no. Okay. And then now it's going to give you some options. Now it's going to give you what you want to apply it to. You want to apply it to every day, weekday, weekend, or custom. We're just going to apply this to weekday, okay? Because that way we'll keep the Saturday and Sunday different, and, you know, the 5 days during a week, the weekdays, will have different, okay? Because of a work schedule or so on. We're just going to choose this option. Do you want to set another schedule? We're going to hit no. And then we're going to hit OK. Schedule is now enabled. Now, when we go back to the schedule, okay, hope you guys can see that. We're going to make sure it's turned on, and we're going to go to the heat schedule once again just to verify our changes. As you can see now, we have 3 blocks because we edited 3 blocks to 3 time periods, and that's what it's allowing us now. Okay, so we have 3 for each one of the weekdays. And as we cycle through this up and down arrow, it's showing us the days. And Saturday and Sunday is still on 2 periods of the day. Now, if we wanted to edit these 2 periods to make them 3 or 4 periods, we would do the same thing. Okay, so we would start on Sunday here and hit OK. And it's going to give us the same exact sequence here. We're going to set our time for the set point and then the actual temperature set point. And we're going to advance. Yes. Set time and temperature. And we're going to hit yes. Time and temperature. Hit yes. I'm going to do 4 periods for the weekend, so I'm just to show you the difference. Time and then temperature. Hit yes. And then, actually, we'll just do 5. Okay, since I advanced through there. Time and temperature. And now we're going to select no. And now this is where we're going to select only the weekend. Do you want to set another schedule? No. Okay, so we go back into schedule and let's verify that our weekend has 5 periods. Heat schedule. And now let's cycle. There we go. So Saturday and Sunday, our 2 weekend days, are showing up with 5 periods for heating. Different types of set points and time thresholds. So that there is how you do a 7-day program. Now this is extremely flexible, as you can see. You can program the weekdays to have 2 periods or even 1 period. Okay. So let's go ahead and set every single day to 1 period or block and do 1 temperature and set point for the whole week. That's possible with this. So let's back out of this and let's go back into heat. Let's hit OK. Now you're only going to be dealing with this first period. Okay, so we're going to set our time and temperature, set it to 72. And do you want to set another period? You're going to hit no to this, okay, because that's it. You only want it 1 period. Now we're going to apply it here where it says the next page, apply to. We're going to go ahead and select every single day. Now we're back to the main display. Let's go back to the main menu and verify our schedule. Heat schedule. And as you can see, as I cycle through the days now, it's only 1 period per day. Okay, and that's how you edit that. Very simple, very flexible. As you can see, you just figure out what you want out of the thermostat and for a set point each and every day. If you want to go that route and individually tailor each day, or just leave it as like a 5-2 block, or like I said, just make it 1 block, 1 period of the day for the 1 temperature, and set it and forget it. All right, so that there is the heating schedule. Let's just go over really quick the automatic changeover schedule. So the auto schedule is this basically the same exact thing I just did, but it's going to give you 2 options, 1 for heat, 1 for cooling. So let's go ahead and do that. As you see, the first one was for heat. Now it advanced to the cooling. And we can go and take care of that. And same thing, it's going to ask you the same prompt. I'm going to say no. I'm going to apply it to every day. And there you have it. Now the schedule is all set. You can come in here at any time and fix it or change it. Our auto schedule is set for 1 period, Monday through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The same thing. Okay? So that there is the way to program this device 7 days a week. Each day could be different, but it's very flexible like that, depending on what you want out of the thermostat. You just got to take some time and set it up. That way you're happy with the results, and it heats and cools your home as needed. Let's get into the manual override, and I want to show you first the very basic operation of this unit. If you don't know already, you can wake it up by pressing in the center here the menu button. So there is 6 touch style buttons on here. You have to use your finger. You cannot use a stylus because it will not work. So using your fingers, there's 6 options here. We have mode, which is self-explanatory. We can go into heat, cool, or fan modes. Okay, I will cover this in more in depth in other videos covering this thermostat. So we have mode, we have the back button, menu button, and then right here is the OK button where it's not highlighted, but it's right underneath my finger in this right-hand corner, and then the up and down arrow. See, as you can see here, we have the OK or Enter button that use that to make your selection. So as you make your selections, you would then you would hit OK. So even though this thermostat is a smart thermostat, it actually can operate as a manual style thermostat. Now, to do that, there's 2 different ways of doing that. Okay, the very first way of manually overriding the thermostat is simply by going ahead and using the up and down arrow. We're in the heating mode right now, so we want to bring it up to, say, 72. And then, as you can see here on the bottom, it's saying until 5 p.m., okay? If I were to select that, let's do that one more time, 72, hit OK on that, then it's going to ask us this right here. It's going to ask us to override and basically the duration. So you can go ahead and select different time periods. It says until next period, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45, 60, 2 hours, 4, 6, and 12 hours are your options. This is the very first way of manually overriding, and I'm just going to say until next period. So hit OK on that, and now what's going to happen is it's going to manually override to the set point of 72 degrees until the next time period, which it shows right here, which is really convenient. So it says until 5 p.m., okay? That's going to work until 5 p.m., and then it's going to go back to its normal schedule. Now, if you want it to fully ignore the schedule, is the next method of manual override. The next method of manual override is basically turning this thing down into a dumbed-down version of this thermostat and making it a manual thermostat. And in order to do that, you have to go through the menu, okay? So hit your menu button. You're going to go to Schedule, right there, okay? Hit OK. Now, as you can see, the schedule has a toggle. We're going to go ahead and toggle that off, okay? As you can see right there, it turned it from green, it went to gray, and now the schedule is off, it's indicating. So we're going to hit OK on that just to see what happens. The schedule is back on. So if we hit it again and then proceed down to the next setting, it doesn't give us any options. So we're ready to go here. We can just hit the back button, hit back once again. Let's go back in there just to make sure that it took the actual setting, schedule, and as you can see, the schedule is grayed out, so it's off. If it was green, it would be on. So we're good to go here. The up and down arrow don't work in this page. All you have to do is hit the back button, okay? Hit the back button again. As you can see now, some things disappeared from the main screen here. Now, as we go ahead and select our temperature now, let's just bring it to some high number, so 80 degrees. We're going to hit OK. And as you can see there's a blank screen. There's no more until 5 p.m. It's just a set point of 80 degrees and then the current temperature here in the center. This is the room temperature. It's going to take some time for it to come up to speed and heat up your home, depending on the size of your home, the efficiency of your heating system, etc. There's so many variables. But the set point is down here, and then your room temperature is the larger number in the center. So that is the second way of manually overriding it. And this is like, if you wanted to basically turn this thing into a manual thermostat and not worry about the apps, not worry about programming a schedule, and not worrying about anything else, and just want to basically use this as a simple kind of 2-button or 3-button device, manual style thermostat, non-programmable, that's how you do it. You will go ahead and shut off that schedule. So to factory reset this device, it's actually pretty simple. There's 2 different ways of doing it, and it depends on the level of reset that you need. So when you go through the settings here, so you press on the menu button, we can go to the first one, which is right in your preferences. So the very first one there, we'll select, and at the very bottom, it's going to say Reset User Data. Now, this is not a factory reset. It's only going to reset the user data on the device that was, when it was first installed, all that information. So that's only going to do that. It's not going to do your factory reset and completely reset the whole device. That's one option. So if we back out of that, next we have the other option, which is the installer setup tab. You go ahead and select that. And now, at the very bottom of this, you will have a complete factory reset. So once you select and hit OK there, it's going to ask you, are you sure? No, yes, and reset. So if you were to go ahead and select yes and reset, well, it's going to be doing a complete factory reset, erasing all your connections on the device if you had an app, your phone or your Matter hub connected to this. It will delete all that connection. It will delete all your saved schedules that you have in the device. Everything will be gone. So be very sure that you want to completely factory reset this device, because you will have to set it up as if it's a brand new device and make all new connections. So I'm going to hit no because I don't want to reset the device right now. But that's where it's at. It's in the installer tab, installer page at the very bottom. Complete factory reset. So that would take care of your factory reset. And if you, like I said, if you only wanted the user data reset, you would use the other option, and that would cover you for the factory reset of the device. So if you enjoyed this video, please check out my other videos. I'm covering, like I said, manual override, the install setup, and the menu options on this device, as well as 7-day schedule programming, and also connecting this smart thermostat to your phone apps such as Amazon Alexa, Samsung SmartThings, Google Home, etc. But you will need a Matter-enabled device or hub. But that's going to be it for the video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please check out my other videos, and I will link them down below this video here in the upper right cards. So check them out. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.